everybody, Invisiblekatana here with the Katana Chronicles vlog. Once again, I'm starting in my car because I am traveling. It's a traveling vlog today because it is free comic book day. I am currently headed to an event for a local radio station called the Riff 101.1. It's my favorite radio station. They play all the rock music. I am going there because they're doing a special comic for the actual station. And I'm excited to do that because it's going to be, it's a unique comic. It's a comic for a radio station. It's really weird. So I'm excited to get that. Hopefully I'm not too late. It started at 2 and it's currently 2:01. Had some other random issues, like a family health scare. So I'm hoping that everything works out with that. But I have to just wait to hear the news on that. So I'm headed to kind of try to do some better things right now and hope that all ends up panning out as well. But doing that first, and then I actually have a business meeting later today, so kind of an odd day, a lot of things happening at once, especially now. But I'm going towards getting some free comic books, or at least this one, and then I think I'm actually going straight to my meeting after that. So I don't know, I'm hoping that doesn't take forever because I really would like to go out and get some free comics because I like free comic book day. I don't really buy comics too often. I only have, I get my select few every once in a while. The only thing I really continuously buy is actually The Walking Dead, and even that I don't buy until I get what are known as compendiums, which are like the giant versions that are like this thick. I have 3 of those, and those come out like every 2 years because it's like 97 issues or something insane like that. So it's like 2 years worth of issues all wrapped into one. So I don't exactly stay current, but that's the only thing I buy, and I buy it in like 2-year intervals. So always excited to get some free comic books. Like I said, I'm really excited to get this because it's a unique thing with it being for the radio station. And other than that, all I can do is really hope that I get a bunch of other free comics. There are actually quite a few comic book stores that I know in the area. They're all within like maybe a 30-minute, kind of a radius. So it's actually kind of awesome because I'm like, all right, well, I hit this one at the radio station. Then I'll go to another comic book store, and then depending on how close it is, I'm gonna have to look it up on the maps. I might do that and then still be able to go to my meeting and get there on time. So that's kind of the plan right now. But obviously, long intro. There are always long intros with me just driving in the car and talking. But that's what I'm headed towards now. And of course, by the end of the day, we'll see what other exciting events happen, because some comic book stores actually kind of put on little shows and stuff. I remember I did that last year, and it was pretty awesome. I bought some posters and played some games and stuff at a comic book store. So looking forward to that, and we'll see what the day beholds. I don't know why I said beholds, but that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so I have officially made it here. The Riff is all set up. You can see the truck off in the distance. I just heard them do an actual announcement on the station. I probably should have just parked way back instead of coming super close to that Riff truck. That was a terrible idea. But this is a nice open space, so as long as I don't hit the Riff truck, we're good to go. There's Riff. And I'm gonna walk in and get a comic and get some random footage. So that should be fun. I don't know if I'll be talking to the actual camera while I'm in there, just getting some random footage because I know they've got a couple people in there. So I'm gonna head in, do that, and basically not pay any attention to Metro PCS, which is who they're partnered with today, but that's because I already have a phone plan with Metro PCS actually, so I'm good. I actually have a plan with them, so it's actually okay. So that's what I'm gonna do, get this free comic. I wish I had something to sign, because he was saying, they mentioned on the announcement that the Riff Rock girl was signing stuff, and I was like, man, I didn't even think of that, having someone sign anything, because James is there from Dave and Chuck the Freak, for anyone who might actually be a Riff fan, and I love the show. I listen to their podcast every day at work, so I'm like, crap, I didn't even think maybe I should wear my Riff shirt and ask if they could sign it or something. I'm dumb. I wasn't even remotely thinking that. Dang, that's stupid. But I'm gonna get a free comic, so it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna get in there, try to get some good footage, and then I'll be on my way. Alright, so I just made it to Green Brain Comics. It's the only comic book store that I actually know the name of ahead of time, so I don't have to get the footage and then show you guys the name. It's Green Brain Comics here on Michigan Avenue. Excited to do it. You guys can kind of see over there with the tent set up. They kind of did the same thing last year. That's the one where I mentioned earlier. They do there's games and stuff like that. At least I believe I mentioned earlier. May have been talking to somebody else when I said that. But they do games and they have stuff there. So I'm excited to get in here. My buddy Demetrius is with me, who's with my business partner. We just got out of our meeting. I'll show off some other footage later of the other comics I got from the last place, because I didn't really do too much after that. So I'll show all that stuff kind of at the end of the day, kind of to recap everything else. But I'm gonna head over here, get my comics, and then we'll just shoot a little bit of footage for some business stuff later. I just got out of Green Brain Comics. Like I said before I went in there, I'm actually just gonna do kind of a recap when I get to the end of this episode, because I got quite a bit of footage in there actually. So I'll just save all that for the end as I'm going over what comics I got for the day. They were doing a raffle, or they are going to, at 5:30, and I wanted to wait because I have a ticket, but I didn't want to risk not being able to get tickets, or not tickets, but comics at the last comic book store that I plan on going to, because I'm not 100% sure when they are going to actually end up closing, unfortunately. I wish I knew that exactly, because if I did, then I'd actually stick around and wait. I have nothing to really do. I'd just be sitting around waiting for 5:30 to hit for another 30 minutes, because it's 5:07 now. But I was like, you know what, just to be sure, so I know I'm going to get something, I'll just go ahead and go to this last comic store. There is a Model T. I'm going to drive past that just so you guys can see it, because that is freaking awesome. Not exactly a Model T, but okay, so this car probably I don't know who they are, so look at that. That is freaking awesome. And now I'm on this tiny little street. But yeah, I'm gonna head down to the final store. I'll have to get like all the names by the end of the episode, because I don't like I've mentioned with Green Brain, that's the only one I remember by heart. So that's pretty much it. This is a long street with no side streets. There's a house being completely built right there, but this is just like, it just goes all the way down. There's a stop sign. Oh, thank goodness, because I'm like, man, I've been driving. I hope I don't get to the point where I'm at this. I think that's a fire truck actually. So I'm gonna head to my final comic book store, and then that will actually be it for the day. Good there. I am going to head to the house after that, and I might meet up with my girlfriend. I mentioned this stuff earlier, the family stuff. It's mostly related to my girlfriend and her family. So I'm still kind of, things seemingly good now. We're waiting for some information. So as of now, things are okay. So that's definitely some good news to hear. And I told her to call me once she is ready for me to, basically get there, if she, kind of needs me to be there, or if she's good. So once I'm officially done with all my comics and whatnot, I will, of course, get in touch with her again. And because I think it was actually like just before I went to Green Brain, and I was only in there for maybe, I may have been in there for like 20 minutes. It's one of those weird things on, when you start looking through comics, you don't realize how many times you've gone past certain stuff. So I'm not 100% sure how long I was actually in there, but it wasn't too long ago. Like, I just talked to her. Plus, she went to eat, so she's not at the hospital currently. So she told me that she'd let me know when she was good to go. So I couldn't have been in there that long, because she hasn't contacted me yet. So she must still be eating. So she said she'll let me know when she's out of there, and then by the time that happens, I should be all done at the final comic book store, because there's nothing to it. And I'm hoping, because I did this, it was the year before last. I went to them at like the end of the day, and they were just like, all right, go ahead, take whatever comics you want. It wasn't like the limit of 3. And also, well, you guys, I'll have the footage at the end, but just to mention, there are some comics that I saw that weren't even at the other comic book store. So that was definitely really cool, because I was like, oh, I thought I'd seen all the free comics that were going to be there. And that was certainly not the case. Green Brain had a lot of different types of comics. Some that I did see, but there were quite a few that I didn't even see at the other one. I was like, okay, this is pretty awesome actually. So I was happy that it wasn't just like, oh, I have, because typically after a while you're just getting all the free comic day comics, and it's like, all right, well, I'm just getting all of them just to have them. But there were others where I was like, oh, I didn't even see these, and those, they were definitely comics that I thought looked really cool. And some stuff, they were franchises I knew, so I was like, yep, got to pick that up. So very happy that they were not only new comics, but comics that I actually really wanted to get. So I was excited to see that. And whatever they have at the next place, I'll probably get the other comics that I didn't want to pick up either through. There was one specifically where it was like, that could potentially be spoilers. I'm not sure. There's jumping ahead in time. I don't know who these characters are, so I was like, I don't think I'll pick that one up. But I'm excited to get some of these other comics that I'd seen. I typically don't buy anything for Free Comic Book Day. I always go in there, I always see the stuff that I want, because honestly, the only comic that really comes to mind that I want is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the color edition, or the Scott Pilgrim series, I should say. And I just don't know if I'm going to actually do that. I've always wanted to do it. I'm always thinking, every time I see it, I'm just like, man, I really want that in color, because it's like the full series in color and it's hardcover, and I want it, but I don't know, I just never end up really doing it. But it looks good every time I see it. I'm just like, oh, those bright yellow hardcover covers, and it's just nice. It's just really good. But I'm gonna head to this store and get some kind of final footage in there, and maybe there'll be some people, maybe there won't be, considering it's 5 now, so I think they'll be in like the last little relics of human existence going to get the free comic books. So I'm gonna head there, get some more free comics, and then kind of wrap things up by heading on home, and then just recapping what I got for the day. That was the final stop. It was actually Wonderland Comics. I will put up the like half-second clip that I actually got because I didn't take any footage on the inside. Sadly, I actually missed it. They ended up stopping at 5, so when I was like, as I was doing the video, or the last part of this video, they were shutting things down. So I got here and I was like, they're closed. They're not doing it. But the store is still open until 6. I just walked around a little. A kid actually got in trouble because he was trying to steal a figure. So that was interesting to be involved in that. I was just busy looking at comics, and it was just like that awkward moment where everyone's in the store and it's just like, let's just look around and do nothing, as he kind of talks to this kid and his aunt. So that was an interesting moment where the kid got busted. I was just like, okay, I'm just kind of doing my nerd thing over here. But walked around for a little. I did get some posters. I'm trying to, I just had, put them on top of it. Okay, so I had some posters left over. So there's it's a mini poster. So I got a cool little Luke Cage, and then the other side is like 2 things. So you have Rocket #1 and I Am Groot #1 with like Baby Groot. So that's cool. I love this for the Rocket #1. That's actually kind of awesome. So I got that, and then the other one is actually a Deadpool one. So the main poster is the horizontal poster, as this side with the Amazing Spider-Man is the vertical poster with Norman looking absolutely bonkers. So there's that. But those are pretty cool. You can probably see it, but I had to. I got them. I got Scott Pilgrim #1, Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life, and then Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which of course the title of the film. So got both of these in full color, and they had the complete collection, but they weren't color, and that was like the one thing, because I was like, after all the time of having seen the movie and wanting the comic, the color version came out, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna buy that. And I still didn't buy them one at a time, so since they were sitting there, I was like, all right, I spent like $50 because they are still 25 a piece. But they're not only larger, they're also in color, so that's great. So love these two. Gonna head back to the house and then kind of round things out as these people look at me while I film the end of this scene. So I am officially back at the house now. I have everything all set up to the side of me here. I'm gonna go through the whole day. We're gonna do an official full recap of all the comics and posters, even a calendar that I actually got for the day. So starting off at the top, we have the Riff event. So I have the calendar from the Riff Rock Girl Brooke, the Riff Rock Girl special comic, 25 out of 250 with James' signature. Obviously that doesn't mean anything if you don't know who James is from Dave and Chuck the Freak. If you don't know Dave and Chuck the Freak, check them out. Really, really funny. They have a podcast. You can get them on iTunes or go to riff.com/Dave and Chuck the Freak. I feel like I'm almost sponsoring them. I feel like it was getting even darker because I wanted to keep it just the natural lighting, but I feel like it's already getting even darker. But started there. That was entertaining. I actually got a nice slice of pizza from Pizza Hut. I didn't mention that earlier, but the pizza was from Pizza Hut, and that's my favorite. So I got Pizza Hut. I got some Pepsi. Always peaceful Pepsi. And it was cool. Got the calendar signed. Got the comic signed, so that was really great. Don't really get to go to a lot of Riff events in general, and I always want to, but I never really get the opportunity. So really special. One of the few events I got to go to. Plus, it was for Free Comic Book Day, and I was able to get one of the free comics because I showed up early enough. So that was really nice. Then after that, of course, I had the first official comic book stop, which was, I'm gonna have to put this up because I don't even remember the name of the place. So boom, here's a picture, which is gonna be a weird picture, I know, because I was actually moving, so maybe it came out still, maybe not, but it was actually me just taking a snapshot of the video. But that's the place that I was at. And there I got my, as I mentioned, my 3 old comics, and then 1, 2, and 3 for the Free Comic Book Day. This is Shadowhawk 2. I don't know how well it's going to show up, but I love the design. It's freaking amazing, so I was like, I'm picking that up. Ghost Rider and the X-Men. Ghost Rider sweet, X-Men are sweet. Pick that up. Daredevil, Man Without Fear. I like Daredevil, mostly because of the Netflix thing. I always liked Daredevil because I did watch the old cartoon. But I was like, it's Daredevil, so why not pick it up? Plus, it had multiple characters. Elektra. I can't think of his name, and I don't know who this character is, but I was like, that's cool. Plus, I like this costume. I don't think I've ever actually seen that costume. I've seen like a million of his costumes, and I don't remember seeing this one. Kind of makes me think of Ben Reilly a little bit, just because honestly, just because it's blue and red, that makes no sense. But for some reason, it's like the design. Maybe it's just like the little points make me think Spider-Man, and because it's red and blue, even though I don't think Peter Parker, I for some reason go with Ben Reilly. Don't know. I don't know. After that, I went to my business meeting, which was actually a total waste today. So that really sucked. That led to like the last part of the video where I was like, oh, I missed the comics. I wouldn't have missed them if I didn't waste my time going to that meeting, because when I actually left the second store, the comic store that I went to, the very last one, which is Wonderland Comics, hopefully that was the right name, they closed up like just before I got there, so I wouldn't have missed that opportunity. And the very first comic store, Wonderland Comics, were like 5 minutes from each other, but I was like, oh man, I have to skip it because I'm going to the meeting. And so then I went to the second official comic book store before going to the last one, and sadly missing it. But the second comic book store was Green Brain Comics, the one that I knew ahead of time. That was definitely fun. Went there with my friend Demetrius after our failed meeting. We went there. He got a couple free comics. I forgot which ones he got. I know he got Avatar, not The Last Airbender, but Avatar the movie. So I know he got that, and I can't remember the other 2 that he picked up. But Green Brain was pretty awesome. That was the one where I mentioned I found like a lot of extra comics that I didn't actually get before, and those comics were this was actually from someone that was there. It wasn't the store itself, but Chad Agamemnon, Chapter 1. This is actually about Ann Arbor, which is pretty awesome. So it's actually set here. Teen Titans, or not, wow, Teen Titans, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just I saw Teen and I went Titans, but love the Turtles. Rick and Morty, super awesome. Street Fighter, also awesome. So that was nice. Went through, saw some other stuff in there as well, but it was definitely cool. Just running through, getting some images, seeing a bunch of different comics. I saw some manga in there too, which is pretty cool. Really made me want to buy some stuff. I was looking at things, I was like, man, there's like Attack on Titan was in there, like the Colossal things, and I was like, I kind of want to read Attack on Titan because I like the first season of the show. Haven't really gotten into season 2. I'm trying to, but every time I freaking watch it on demand, it literally stops at the first action sequence of the first episode of season 2. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna just wait on that. And I'm watching the dubbed version because it recently came on Toonami. So I was like, I'll watch it dubbed just because it's actually not too far behind, and I don't really care that much. It's not like Boruto where I'm like, I need to watch that sub because I just love Naruto. But had a good time in there. That was certainly enjoyable. Glad to get those comics. Also was able to get this little thing here. They put it in. They got some events coming up for anyone who might be in the Dearborn area, and you can get to Green Brain Comics. They have on the 13th open gaming from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. now every second Saturday of the month. On the 19th, they have movie night at 7 p.m. Slackjaw Punks presents The Void, plus a Q&A with the film star Aaron Poole. On the 20th, Kids Craft Day from 1 to 3, free hero-themed Kids Craft. On the 31st, you get a free copy of Saga number 43. I have like the first 2 volumes of Saga. I've had them for years. I got them for free, and I still haven't read them. But every time I look at them, I'm like, I should really read that because I actually want to get into it. And I saw like book 1 and 2 today, which is just like super thick. It's like a bunch of issues in one. And I was like, if I read that first volume and I like it, I'll just come back and buy the whole first book because I only have the first 2 volumes. So Probably end up doing that once I read that story. I'll like it and be like, well, I'm getting the whole thing now. On the 3rd of June, they have Wonder Woman Day. So that's just, it doesn't have a time, so that's just all day. It's Wonder Woman Day. Join us for free comics and activities, it says. So definitely check that out. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going to that. I love Wonder Woman. There's a comic. Like, I just think that's a great. Also, this is funny to me, but they're both looking like the exact same direction. But I like Wonder Woman, so I'm definitely going to go to that. Let's see what else. So yeah, got the little poster, second poster from Grim Grain Comics, and then after that we went to, well, not we, I went to Wonderland Comics. My buddy, he left, but I went to Wonderland Comics, and that's where I got my Luke Cage poster, the reversible one that I showed off before with the Rocket and Groot. Got a little Deadpool, Till Death Do Us, and part 1, 2, and 3, and then Spider-Man with the Crazy Norman. And then I finally, I had to get them, so I got Scott Pilgrim 1 and 2 hardcover color edition, which is super freaking sweet. And after I did all of this, I actually went back to the first store, and that's when I got this, because technically I was supposed to get these 3, and then I got these 3, and I went back because they had some really great deals. And so I was walking around just looking at figures and stuff like that, and that was the last one of Malika. This was the last comic, the last issue of this comic specifically. They still had some other stuff, and I was just like, I was here earlier, but like, can I get this? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, cool. So I just took that last one because I was like, it looks interesting. So that was my day. Excuse me, pretty entertaining. Got my posters. I don't know what I'm gonna really do with them. Actually, I might give the Luke Cage one to my girlfriend if she wants it, but got some comics, got some classic comics. It's not just free comic book day comics, so that actually makes this day even cooler, because normally it's just like, free comic book day, that sort of deal. And I don't mind that, but if you know free comic book day, it's not like the biggest thing ever. A lot of the comics you get will be like a couple of pages, and then the rest will be like a totally different thing or something like that. That's kind of what this one is. It's like part of the Twilight Princess manga, and then on the back of it, as it says, it features an excerpt from the Ocarina of Time Legendary Edition. So that's what a lot of free comic book day comics are like. So it's really cool to actually get 3 legitimate old school comics. So I really love that. Get that's technically a official comic as well. So that's really awesome. And then my paid comics. So definitely had a good day. I don't know, I didn't really take many pictures or do anything else. All it was just, me filming and everything. But definitely had a good time today. I'm going to get some pictures, probably have a bunch of them posted up on Instagram. So you guys can check those out if you want to. It'll just be, different images and stuff like that. So, you've seen it all here. I might actually take a full picture just like this to put up on Instagram, just to be like, the entire haul from Free Comic Book Day. But definitely had a good time. Went to even more stores than I did last time, which is always a bonus. You just get, more free comics is great. I do wish that I didn't have that stupid meeting, because I probably would have had, I know I would have had more comics, because as I mentioned earlier, going to the last comic book store, I was like, if I get there right at the end, they'll probably just be like, go ahead and grab whatever comics you want. And sadly, it was like, I just missed it. I missed it by the time I got there. But still a good day. Even missing that, I still got the comics that I truly wanted. I probably would have just picked up. I like the bit of imagery that I showed for Green Brain, where I was looking at the Walking Dead thing. But that's what I was referencing earlier, where I was like, I might pick that up, but slight spoilers and stuff, because I'm quite a bit behind because of the compendium thing. So I was like, but never had the opportunity to do that either way. But still had a good time. Glad I got the ones that I really wanted. This is really the one thing that I was like, I want to make sure I get it, like this, and actually the Rift comic. I was like, I have to get this, and I was super happy that I saw this in the very first store, because I saw an ad for that, and I was like, oh, I really want to get that. So definitely cool. It's just an excerpt, a first little bit of the manga anyway. So if I really want to, I'll just get the manga. But I actually have the game, the HD version on Wii U. Haven't even played it, so I might just end up doing that rather than buying a whole manga and reading through the entire story. But I don't know. Depends on how much I really love the story. I might end up getting the manga in the future sometime. But had a good time with Free Comic Book Day, and it's a nice little haul. I got some posters. I got a buttload of comics. These seem more substantial than the ones I got last year. I'll see once I actually start going through them, and how far you get to actually get a story. It seems like it's more actual comic than ad this time around, so I actually really like that. I'm really excited to read that Rick and Morty one. I didn't know they had comics, so I was like, I'm probably about to start getting into that. And then Ninja Turtles, I have to like start way backwards from the beginning before I get into anything current with the Ninja Turtles. Except that Batman Ninja Turtles crossover, I might buy that really soon. So I don't know, but had a fun time today. Of course, we'd love to know how you guys spent your free comic book day. What comics you guys got? You know, any of these? Did you guys find any places that did kind of old school stuff where you got to take home some old school free comics as well? Maybe you went to some special events like I did for the Riff and got myself a calendar and a special comic. So we'd love to know what special things you guys did on free comic book day, or what cool things you may have even purchased. I finally got my cool 2 purchases that I've been holding off for years. So, we'd love to know how you guys spent free comic book day, and, what you enjoyed most, what you missed. If you had any missed opportunities like I did, would love to hear about those as well. But all in all, of course, thanks for checking this video out. Like I said, if you guys have any comments, whether it's, about free comic book day or comics in general, or just anything random, I don't know. Whatever you want to put, please put it down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.